All right, we are back, and I'm on the internet now, and Chris says that our upload speed is 3.5, whatever crap that all means. I'm sure y'all probably know, so hopefully we should not have any problems, but I don't know. I'm not doing anything different than I would have done 3 months ago, and all of a sudden I'm having with a new phone. But we shouldn't have any problems now. I guess I'm just not in the habit yet of connecting to the internet. It's always so bad out here. I never connect. And so I'm connected now. Hey, Miss Dale. All right. So I'm going to combine these colors, the drop cloth and the white, because I just really don't want it really stark white. So I'm just going to dip in each one of my paints. It probably will hurt my color a little bit, especially on the drop cloth. I mean, I wouldn't suggest doing it, but I really am not going to use that color because I'm not really an off-white person. So I don't mind them mixing together because I will use it more if it was more, a little bit more white, but not too stark white. But thank y'all all. Let's see. Oh, North Carolina. Oh, Cynthia from, what's PA, Suzanne? Pennsylvania? Yeah. Okay. Which, I mean, there's not another state that starts with P, is there? Or what else it could be. All right, so just that fast. And this is just going to be the base of the nativity scene. So I didn't worry about the back. Of course, it's just one of those beware signs. And all I did was paint the front. This is going to be the base, the part that sits down, that's going to kind of support. And I'll put my little figurines on the top of this because the barn is only going to take up probably about 2/3. I mean, a little under half. I'm probably going to put it a little on the back side of it. So I'm going to get that out of our way. And this is our barn base. And I'm not going to worry about it. It's the same thing on each side. Now, this is cut out of wood, but I was telling Jennifer today, it probably would be easier to cut this out of cardboard or poster board, because then you don't have to worry. I mean, it's not really that heavy, but of course it's a little bit heavier than poster board. So when I go to stabilize it and set it up, this is going to be a little bit harder. And remember, we did our haunted house out of poster board, and it's fine from the front. After you paint it, you cannot tell, and it was really easy to work with and stabilize and when it was upright because it was so light. So we're going to do the same thing to this one, and I'm actually going to pour a little bit of this paint out that I did to the other one, because, you know, I am going to distress this. And even though it's our nativity scene, I am going to distress it like we do everything else. So that way it'll match more of the popular Christmas decor now, instead of like your, I would say, traditional manger scene, you know, or nativity scene is always, you know, you buy a really nice one and it's shiny, and or you make one in ceramics and they're always so pretty. But I just feel like the one I have doesn't match anything that I'm using now. So I tend to put it off to the side, and you really don't want to put it off to the side. But I don't want to put, you know, something shiny, you know, perfect next to something that's distressed either. So I feel like if I do like a barnyard or more rustic scene. Suzanne, do you see a cup of paint brushes up there by the sink? Will you bring it to me? I need that water to help spread this. I think I went in there earlier to specifically grab it and forgot. Were you watching with Jane last night?
I just watched your test runs.
Okay.
I was like, what's she doing? I thought it was a test run.
Okay, because she kept saying, Suzanne said whatever, so I thought that meant y'all were together. And I don't think, I just see Jane just clicked on. But I didn't, yeah, I was so worried about getting my supplies and helping Buffy cook supper. I didn't grab the laptop and put it over here last night. I felt like I was all so ready and taking forever on my project. And then tonight I'm trying to get my project done and didn't log in to the new internet like a doofus. But I'm glad if it was gonna mess up, it's gonna mess up before we got into it. Because I hate having part 1 and part 2 of video. All right, and I put a lot of paint on here, but I'm putting just a little bit of water on my brush to kind of help it spread a little bit. Still just mixing these colors together. And this is called, on the Dixie Belle, there's like white. I don't know if they have a whiter than this, but this is called cotton. And it, to me, is extremely white. I finally told you she and I talk a lot. Oh, hey. She just got finished eating supper. I don't know why I do that every night. I help Buffy get supper ready. And right when I'm like, okay, y'all, it's all ready. Come sit down and eat. And I have to go live because it's 7:30. So I always eat it later. But it kind of makes me not eat as much. If I sat down with them, I'd make this huge plate. And so at least it's helping me in some way. I forgot I have my new shirt on, and I'm gonna get paint on it and wanna get myself. All right, let's see, a little bit more water. All right, what did y'all have? We cooked tonight burritos, nachos, Mexican rice. We had some refried beans. We had nachos. And I have discovered, and I don't know if it's all been in there, you know, when we go into, you know, any kind of Mexican restaurant, we love the white cheese that you can get. I'm sure it probably has some name, but we love it. And I don't know if it's always been there, but I just noticed it. When you, over there kind of where you buy Velveeta cheese on that certain aisle in the grocery store where the Velveeta cheese is, they have cans of the white cheese. I think it's like queso cheese or something like that, maybe the name of it. And you can dip your, so we warmed a little bit out up, so we had like a good little spread. And we cut up all the fresh veggies and avocados and everything to put on top of it. And as soon as I finished cutting everything up, I said, okay, it's time to eat. And then when it was time for me to cut, I'd gotten everything over here, but I just forgot about the laptop and obviously the internet. Our new internet. Y'all, we were able to download and watch a movie off of Netflix last night. Never stopped, never buffed. So I'm hoping this just isn't some dream and it's gonna keep being awesome. Okay. Listen, since I'm gonna put things in front of this, I'm not gonna put more than one coat on this. The wood grain is a tad coming through once this kind of soaks in a little bit. And I like that. It almost gives it, it's a little bit more than whitewashed. And I'm actually brought my sanding block out to get the edges on this, because I really want to make it really pretty because how important it is. And, you know, everybody is seeing, you know, making the little manger scenes with the little Jenga blocks. And this, you see how big this is, and I'll have to tell you what I ended up doing. I had to get my power tools out, but you know I love power tools. All right, that is that. I think the last thing I have to do is paint the little brace. And this is just a 2x2. that's gonna be my brace to hold it on the back. And I really only have to pay. Now, things like this been nicked up. I've had this little piece of wood forever. I'm not really gonna worry about it. I'm gonna kind of get the little pieces off the end from where I was cutting it. But I like the fact that it's a little nicked. I almost wanna put, instead of that, I think I may put some antiquing on it instead of painting it this white. And that way it'll just give it a little bit more, because I don't mind. It's going to stick out a little bit on the end because I want it to kind of be part of the foundation of the barn. So I don't mind that you can see it. I don't like when you can't close paints. Like paint gets in the threads and that, it drives me nuts. I need to wipe it off each time, but I don't. You think as aggravating as it makes me that I would remember to do that. Oh. We got a lot watching. I'm so glad. Okay, so the antiquing is just, you bite where the chalk paint is. No, it's my black. And it looks like, it says right here that it's wax, but you get it where the chalk paint is. And it's kind of like a chalk, to me, a chalk stain. Or a water-based, some kind of stain. Because just like a regular stain, the more you put on here and you wipe it and then you put some more, or you can leave it, it makes the color different each time. I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna put mine on with just a paintbrush, since I have to cover so much area. But there are a lot of crafters who get baby wipes out and just wipe this all. It just depends on how dark you want the color, what type of wood. See, like if I use it like paint, it really just looks like a really chocolate brown. But you can actually take something wet or dry and wipe the excess off, and it's soaking into your paint. So then you can see the wood grain comes through it. So it just depends. Like you could let it completely dry, you could put another coat on it, and you could make it quite dark if you wanted to. I'm going to put it all on one side and just wipe down. I love that the imperfections will show through on the wood. It's just kind of been nicked and dinged, and like right here. It's just got several little nicks on it. I don't know if you can see that. I like that. Ooh, and this side has got a lot. This piece is what I cut. I could probably talk about it while I'm doing this. This is what I cut my Mary and my Joseph, my 3 wise men, my 2 shepherds was this bigger. And the reason why I didn't make them out of the Jenga blocks is I made my barn, I think it's like 22 inches tall. So when I put the Jenga block little figurines next to it, or what I would have made the figurines, it kind of was, it was not to scale. And I want it to kind of be as close as it is. It's pretty important to me. See, it's got a lot of little nicks on this side that are going to show. You can wet your claw. You can rub it on here dry. I'm doing mine dry. And all of the techniques give you, whatever you use will make it, your stain or your whatever, it'll give it a different color and a different look. So sometimes you may want to take a piece of wood out that you're going to use, and, if you don't know quite what you're looking for, then do different sides different ways, and then you can go back and see which one you like the best. But make sure you remember what you did to that particular side, especially if you do something weird to it. Okay, one more. All right. And I can't forget to get the little ends. And I'm just going to put this to the side, and while we work on our little figurines, all this will dry. Because number one, the paint dries really fast anyway, especially when it's that chalk paint. And when you don't do multiple coats, which we didn't do. Are you leaving, Nathan? Thank you so much for your help today. I know Chris appreciated it. because he would still be out there if you had not helped him. Did you get plenty to eat? Okay. All right, so this is what we have. And I did the ends. All right, so I'm going to set that to the side because I think I may do my shepherds. You know, shepherds are normally, you know, just a brown, plain in your set. And so I'm going to do my shepherds out of those. All right. All right, so what I did was you saw how tall this was. If I would have used my Jenga blocks, this is how tall in comparison. You know, it just kind of would have drowned them out. And my doors are this big. You know, and I'm thinking you walking through a door, which I know a barn door is kind of higher, but I thought my Joseph, you know, even with his head. So what I did was I took that 2x2 that we were just working with, and I cut different heights. I wrote Joe on it. This is a wise man. Because I wrote little stuff on them so I would know. So this is Mary. And we're going to put her little head on her. Not that one. I actually have some felt balls that I thought looked better with this. And we're going to paint them. Like I said, this is a wise man. Here's a shepherd. I even cut little tiny gifts for my, wherever my wise men are going to be. And so they're a little bit different. But if you have a smaller scale or if you're just making an ornament, the Jenga blocks will be perfect. So here's another shepherd. And remember, we're going to make little animals with our yarn. The wise men. And this is finally Joe. Here's my Joe and Mary. Here are my wise men will be over there. Maybe we'll put, my shepherd over here. So here's our little, and we're going to put some little, make some little animals. So we're going to put like circles on the top. I wanted to find a circle that I had that would be the same. So I have this garland that have these felt balls on them. And I thought they really kind of go with the portion. I mean, I have one that's close to it, or I have these half beads that I could maybe kind of set up at an angle, or I could actually put two together, but it doesn't bother me using these little felt balls. They seem kind of rustic anyway. So we'll use that. And the baby Jesus now I am going to use just a regular little Jenga block size. I'm going to do a manger with our Jenga blocks. And I have a little tiny, just like little gnome heads that I'm going to use for their heads. But, and I've got, where is it? For their little, what would you call that? Robes. And I have like a little bit of, it's almost the purple that we used in, that. I have some little tiny twine to tie at the top. And I thought I grabbed, I did grab this. It's that burlap that has the little white specks in it. I thought it would be pretty if maybe one of the wise men had it. Just a little bit more high class since they're kings. Okay. All right, let me get this stuff out the way, and I'm going to put them together so I'll know. Okay, that's going to be brown. Mary and Joseph, I think I'm going to do, I got this, it says Bunker Hill Blue. It's just a real deep blue and a red. Then we have our star. And then we'll do these. I hadn't really decided on, I guess I could just do those white and use that really pretty burlap on those. So maybe we'll just do those, the drop cloth white, more of a off. And then we can put the presents. We're gonna just put a little twine around those as if they're gift wrap. So you'll kind of just know what they are. All right, so let's get these worked up really fast. I don't think I had any pieces. It looks like maybe it worked out really well. All right, I like that. Good, Chloe. All right, let's see. And we're just gonna paint it. I mean, probably just to keep it on this little rustic look. I don't even think we need to do, you know, maybe one coat. Because, you know, all these colors especially are gonna be really bold anyway. And I'm probably gonna distress the corners, at least the corners of them. But listen, you could just leave them the wood box, especially if you do the Jenga blocks. You could just leave on these colors and put the little tiny heads on them, wrap them together, you know, 3, just for Joseph, Mary, and Jesus, as just an ornament. And you don't have to have them on a scene. Or if you have already at least a really rustic background as far as like the manger scene, I don't think I'm gonna paint the bottom right now. That way I can set it down and it can dry good, and I'll go back and touch those up. But if you already have that, because you know sometimes even with a nice nativity set that you have like porcelain or really shiny, neat, pretty pictures, you have a real rustic manger scene. And so I think these would look really well just in a, you know, if you already have the manger scene. I can remember when the girls were little, we didn't have any money, so I could never really buy really, really nice nativity scenes. So I bought one that was, you know, it was nice, you know, made like a porcelain or something, but I still let them at least touch it. I didn't want to have something out there that I had to worry about when we decorated or anything like that. So I think the first thing, like one of my wise men, that the head got broken off of it. And I mean, just being, oh, we're so poor, you know, I think, or young. I mean, I don't think I did anything, like went out and tried to buy like special glue or anything. So I just had, you know, everybody has a hot glue gun. So I can remember every year I would have to glue his head back on, and, you know, it would have all the puffy stuff from the old glue around his neck. And, you know, like, how do you get rid of that? I mean, even though it's by the end, I think the baby Jesus was missing out of the manger because they probably had, as little girls, taken it and played with it or something, or taken it to their room, and Jesus wanted to sleep with them that night or something. And we were so bad about not telling them no about anything. That baby Jesus was missing. It was just kind of a sad thing, but you know, I'm so sentimental about things like that. I think I had kept it forever with pieces missing and heads broken, and yeah, it hadn't given me any problems since then. I hope I don't freeze up or.
I think it must be a cell signal. I don't know.
All right, this is a really pretty blue. I can tell my white. I've got a little bit of that white left on this brush, but it's okay because, like I said, I'm gonna distress it a little bit anyway. Cheryl, I have a great niece and her family live in North Dakota. Her husband's in the Air Force. It is cold there. It's super cold here. Let me see more of your comment. Let's see more. Really cold there. Oh, can you imagine? It's like, it was like in the high 20s, low 30s here past 2 or 3 nights. I love it. I don't know how anybody could not love it. I love it. I mean, I wore my jacket to work today. It was just super, super nice. But of course, I get home and I don't know, just maybe cooking with Buffy, you can see my cheeks were really red. I get hot, you know, just kind of putting around and I think my heater, I only have it on like 64 or something. I don't have, but it had gotten up to like 66 in here. I don't know what's up with our insulation, but it must be good because once the heat gets in here, it's trapped. I want to open the door and leave it open, but they have a fit when I leave the door open. All right, and let's do our 3 wise men. Hey, Sin, how are you doing today? It's Stephanie. I am doing great. How are you? Do you have good weather where you are? Oh my gosh, y'all are not gonna believe what I did to him last night though. You know, I've had it on like 64, so I thought, you know, if it dropped below that, you know, I haven't even had to turn my fan on at night. It's been so nice. Yesterday, right before we went on our lives, I guess Buffy and I were cooking and it just got hot. So I turned the heater off. I didn't like turn the air on or anything. I just turned it off. Well, I forgot that I turned it off. Well, Buffy fell asleep here in the living room watching TV. So she's just right outside Chris and our door. And this morning, Chris, you know, you just kind of chit chat in bed with, you know, and we're just sitting there and I'm like, you know, I'm kind of cold. I'm like, how can it be so cold in the morning? It's just 64 in here. That's what I set it to. And last night, you know, I'm walking around 64 going, is it me or is it hot in here? I got up and went in the kitchen. I'd forgotten to turn the heat back on. It was 58 in the house. Even I was cold. And I said, I'm going to turn on the heater for y'all as I was leaving. But I think I dropped it down to like 63, so it wouldn't be quite so bad for them. I mean, they didn't have to get up and go anywhere, so I didn't worry too much. But I did laugh because I totally forgot. I'm good. It's raining right now. I think we're supposed to have some rain tomorrow here. And it's supposed to jump up to like 70. And then, yeah, and then go, you know, right back in the 40s. And then I think at the highs, like what? High 50s the rest of the week, something like that. I try not to get my hopes up when I see that kind of stuff because the next thing you know, it's, oh, no, we're wrong. It's 80 today or something like that. We had humidity back the other day. All my leaves on my hydrangea, they were still like super green. So when this cold hit, now they look like I went out there and set them on fire because they had just all these new leaves just sprang out and new foliage was just everywhere. But, and you know, my elephant ears were the same way. It's like once the humidity came back out a couple weeks ago, none of my plants my lantana started looking like it does in the wintertime, but that was about it. Everything else kind of was not. Okay, here's one of my wise men. Let's see, Jane Brinson, we are having a mild winter so far. No snow on the ground here. Oh my gosh, we never get snow here. I think the last time it snowed here, we had a snowstorm and it shut the whole state down for about a week. We couldn't even leave our house because of all the pine trees that had snapped in our driveway. Yeah, in Georgia, snow. Well, I shouldn't say that because I'm sure in North Georgia they're used to things like that. But here, just about midway down, yeah, if we've seen snow, it's just been like a major thing that year. Schools shut down. Or I'm sure up north y'all would laugh at what we call bad weather. Sharon Marlowe, this crazy weather will have everyone sick. Yes, I can't believe that my sinuses, like I have a little bit of a headache. I had a bad headache last night. I can't take the changing of the weather, like in the spring when it starts warming up in the day. But it doesn't really bother me that bad in the past few years unless the humidity. It's like humid in the day, and then like a couple of weeks ago when all that humidity came back, I mean, not just the heat, it felt like July here. It was awful. as soon as it got a little cold at the beginning of this week, I don't think I've had to take a Claritin in a couple of years because it hasn't been so bad. But I probably need to right now because as soon as I get hot, that swelling of my sinuses just sucks. There have been no other nice ways to say it. It just sucks. All right, let's see about my presents. I think maybe I'll just make the presents gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Surely don't want to put any sparkly colors in them. Oh, maybe I'll just stain those. All right, and we're gonna antique our shepherds, and maybe we'll just antique our presents too. See, people are always saying it's not about the presents. Even Jesus got presents. Just kidding, but that was really funny. I can't believe my kids have never said that to me when you're like, it's not about the presents at Christmas time, but they haven't just come out and said, well, you know, because my kids, they always figure, and I can see their little heads working when I'm like hoping they won't figure something out. You know, because there's just some questions you just don't want to answer when they're like 6, 7, and 8. And they just Neely would always sit there, my oldest, like, yep. And I look at Chris and I said, I told you she was going to be the one to figure it out if it's something. I take my allergy meds every day. If I take my Claritin every day, it doesn't work as well. I've started just taking it when I need it. Lynn, prayers for him and doctors and you. Oh, I'm so sorry. I missed what she said. She must have said something was wrong and I missed. Is somebody sick? All right. Walker watching. I'm bummed this year. My grandkids won't gift cards. I know, doesn't it? My kids aren't in here, are they? No. Doesn't it suck when they don't believe in Santa Claus anymore? I think that's why grandparents like grandkids so much better than their kids. Is because it just, I can remember asking my dad that, like when it just kind of got to that year that my kids didn't believe in Santa Claus anymore. And I'm a big Christmas person. I can make it fun when we are dirt poor and we don't have a lot. I'm going to have a good time at Christmas. But it just, when they don't believe in it anymore, it's just kind of like, it's like the magic of you say, it just makes it kind of depressing at first. I can remember the first year just, you know, Mama, you don't have to do that. We know there's no Santa Claus. And, you know, it just ruins it kind of. Especially, yeah, when they start telling you they just want gift cards or money. I finally just told Mom one day, I said, I don't care. I'm not ever just giving you money for Christmas. There's something you want to do, a concert you want to go see, or anything like that. If it's 3 months from now, I'll pay for it. You know, whatever, I'll do anything, but I'm not just giving you money. Sorry. But it does kind of suck when they don't believe in it anymore. Okay, that one did really good. See how it just still has that wood grain in it? I like that. And I just used the antiquing like we did on that one piece. And it's the same type of wood. So maybe just a shorter piece. It doesn't sit on there that long and it just wipes and shows the grain just a little bit. But I mean, it really is like stain. But this is the only color I've ever seen in Waverly. Now, I think in the Dixie Belle, she carries certain stains. like rubbing stains. But the one day there was a specific color I was looking for and she was out of it. And I've never tried the other ones. But I think with the Dixie Belle, you can get a lot of different colors. Like with the Waverly, this is the only other color in the antiquing I've ever seen. I know they have a white wax too. It's kind of like an off-white. But I've never seen any kind of other colors. So they're kind of limited. But that Wise Owl, like a lot of people that I watch use that. I don't think there's anybody in Waynesboro that sells that. I would have to order it over the internet. Or I would try it and let y'all know if it's really good. Some of the colors, I think they have really neat names for colors. But one day, if I come across it somewhere, I'm shopping or out of town, or maybe I'll try to see if there's someone, you know, in Augusta that has it. I'll buy some and let y'all know, try it out and let y'all know if it's good or better or what. I have no idea the price either. I use a dark wax with Dixie Belle. Yeah, Dixie Belle has, and they keep them in these like little rubber thing. I mean, like the little endless squirts or whatever you call them. All right, so y'all, I think we've got all those. Oh, no. I was going to do my presents. I'm trying to think. I brought some gray in here, this steel color. And I didn't really use that on anything, so let's do the presents that. Just so it'll be, since it's sitting, I'm going to sit them in front of the wise men. It won't be like the same color. I'm so bad about it. I think I don't pull my tops off because then they won't get on the lids. Do you live in Georgia? Yes, Terry, I live in Georgia. Right below Augusta. Probably about 20 minutes below Augusta, straight down. But it is on the border. Like when you go across the river that borders our county, you're in South Carolina. So it's really close to if you look at it on a map, the right-hand side. Whoops, I got little tails on these little ones. Okay. My play on my, y'all, John is picking on me saying that I'm doing like that. Do I do it the whole time? Nobody says anything about it anymore. So I don't know if they're just used to me doing it or they're just not saying anything anymore. All right, let's see. Okay, that one's done. All right. So we're rocking and rolling now. And I'm going to put just a little bit of tie, just like a little bit of twine around these. So, and I'm not worried about tying like it's just going to be kind of a rustic little knot. Just so you know, it can kind of symbolize what it is, a gift around these little squares. And I brought this steel out because the little top part of my barn, like it was a tin roof, I'm going to paint that. The little dimension, not the doors. I'm debating on, do I want to do red doors? I'm just kind of, I really want to, but I'm debating on, will it look good? I don't want to go through all that trouble of, where is the top part? There it is, under my chair. Why I have this open, I keep closing them. Let's see, I live in, oh, Terry, you live in Augusta. All right. Where do you live in Augusta? Like Martinez, just in Augusta itself? You do it all the time. Don't want you to be self-conscious. Miss Jane said you do it all the time. I'm not self-conscious.
Tell Jane I love her.
Because I noticed my mama, my Aunt Nancy does it. Everybody, I think, in our family does it. But John said to tell you he loves you. Not red for nativity. That's what I was thinking. I really kind of want it to match, but maybe I'll just do this steel color, you know, just a gray. That's still kind of rustic and going along with the stuff I have up here, the gray. All right, I'll do that. Because I just don't want it to be so old McDonald, you know. But Mary is red, so I have a little bit of color in it. But she's like a dull barnyard red. Or barn red, whatever it is. I think I always say barnyard. All right, all right. All right, so this is just kind of the roof lining of the barn. So we just did it in this steel gray color. Okay. Oops, I see a little part I didn't get. Oh, I haven't gotten all of it. Okay. Now our barn doors. And I'm just going to do one side because I'll glue the other side. Now I'm going to go out. I really like that burned effect that it has on the side, so I'm going to paint out, do my strokes to the outside, so I don't get any on the side. All right. Not too hard. And the wood grain is coming through on this. Try not to press down too hard. Because I don't think I want to try to sand these. We'll distress everything else, but I mean, they're not fragile, but I think I could put too much pressure on them and maybe crack them because, you know, they're only that thick. Yeah, I think I'm glad we're doing the gray. I think that's going to work out good. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else throughout the year that I could use this for. I know if Jesus needed a little yarn hat, I may want to match this. Okay, there's one. It's just that little steel gray like we did the little top. And one more. I think besides Jesus, and maybe I'm going to wait to put it all together to see if we even need to paint him, because he's one of those Jenga blocks, and I could actually use one of the little dark Jenga blocks, or now I'm doing this fast and I got it on the side. So I could just pull out a little bit because I am going to use one of the little Jenga blocks from Walmart. And y'all, these little 2x2s is just scrap wood that I had around the house. So just like with our other, like when we were making the pumpkins out of 2x4s and different things like that, they don't have to be the exact same size. I thought about getting maybe some 2x4s out, but I thought that would be just a little too big. But you could also rip those down. Like whoever runs the power tools in your house, get them to cut those. Or if you go into Lowe's and you know exactly what size you want it cut to, it won't be probably precise and a million of them, but they probably would cut them for you. Especially this 2x2. All I did was just make notches on it and go take the miter saw and go straight down on the sizes that I want, because they don't have to be exact. Like I think I did my wise men kind of the same, but I tried to make my shepherds and Joseph and Mary different heights. Thank you so much for sprinkling. That is going to be perfect. Where did the doors come from? Jennifer, when she cut out at Southern Door Alt, she cut out the barn for me. She cut out the little doors. I said, please give me some doors. Because, you know, I would have had to get a ruler out, and, you know, I knew I'd paint this in front of y'all, so I was not going to get the ruler out. But y'all, it really is a square. I mean, you can use, you know, the craft sticks and make it. And you know, those cut with scissors, so it's not really hard. I have one more window. Let's see. This is the window at the top. Are they all the same size? Okay, this one is different. So this is my top window. So this is kind of like just the loft door at the top. I really just put it a filler, because it would have been really pretty, this particular barn that I found on the internet for her to cut for me. Had like, it either had Tree Farm on it, or it had Merry Christmas on it. And there was no words that I thought I could put up there. I could not come out. I looked at her and I said, I don't want it to just be blank, but what word do you put over a nativity scene? You know, you could put like, you know, a child is born. I mean, there's definitely things you could put, but as far as like on just my scene, I didn't want anything written up there. Okay, there's my loft window. I think the last thing is my star. And I'm going to do it. I got a star and then like a little oak, so it looks kind of dimensional. So I may do the back of that gray, and the front I can do the white like the barn is. Or maybe I need to do that backwards. I'm going to paint both sides, and that way when we get to it, I'll know. Where's the other star? I'm catching myself doing it. And my lips are so chapped. My lips never get chapped, but I looked at them today and they're all cracked up and they kind of look kind of sad. Okay, so besides the white on the other side, I think we're actually done with the paint. We did really good. We can get our glue gun out. You know, I missed my glue gun. Haven't been able to glue or burn my fingers here lately. Being all responsible. Hey, Beth. Okay. On the other side of the star, I'm going to put a little bit of this white. White. I don't know how I'm going to do this star, but I know these are the colors I'm going to use. But I want you to be able to see it, so I'm doing both sides of them white, both sides of them gray, and that way we'll decide on how we're going to do them at the end. Ha! Besides baby Jesus, I think we're done with the paint. And am I paint free? Okay. And everything looks like it's drying really well. So we're doing good. Yep. These are just about dry. I think there was a little bit I just felt down at the bottom. So we can set all of these up here and we'll just grab them as we need them. Because right now, what we've got to do is put the main pieces, the big pieces together. And then that way I can set that to the side and we will be able to So I don't, is this got any kind of warp in it? I don't think so. Well, slightly, but I'll be putting pressure on it down there. Okay, where's our main little stick? This is the first thing. I think I'm gonna put this in the back. And can y'all see that pretty good? If not, I can back up or put the camera down. I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it, and I'm putting it towards the back. Because remember, I've got to have like a little room to put my little figurines, and the barn is actually gonna sit in front of this. So I'm gonna put it pretty close to the back. Let me find a side that has the little dings on it. That'll be the prettiest. Because you're really only gonna see this probably, I think it only sticks out about that far on the end. But let's get our handy dandy glue out. So we get to do all this gluing now and wear those little finger protectors. I know some of my mamas on here are fixing to say, wear your finger protectors. All right, let's see. My glue gun gets hot. If y'all can see the smoke, well, can you see smoke on the camera? Hold on. Eyeball. Okay. I did not. The antiquing takes a little bit longer to dry. So if you have like a heat gun or a blow dryer out, that does take a little bit longer to dry than your, I want that to really harden really good before I put the taller piece on it. I would have been in Hebrew anyway. Well, listen, I've learned in the past couple of days what Christmas ornaments are. The priest at our church, Pam, his wife, we are going to attempt to make Christmas ornaments. And I've had to learn about all of what those are, what the symbols mean. You know, I was all on the internet today, you know, what does this symbol mean? And they're all symbols of Christ, but in different ways. You know, Hebrew letters, they're old Greek letters, and, you know, the fish, the, you know, different Celtic cross, the Northern Cross, the Crusader crosses. Gosh, it had all kind of stuff, the anchor cross. It was just it was so interesting, too, to learn about it. Okay, I'm going to let this harden, and we'll put the front of this on, or the little top piece that goes on the top. And we did that in that steel color. And I think it's going to look really pretty against here. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing that I just did with the other. And these pieces are kind of like pieces that you get from the Dollar Tree. They're so light, and they really usually take this glue really well. And get down in the little pores of the wood and all that good stuff. Still a little wet, but all right, that's good. Now we're gonna put our doors on. And they're already dry. All right. Now, probably need to use something to judge where the center is. Look at me, almost getting it in the center. Woo woo. Okay, we'll leave one down, so when I pick up the other one, I'll know where I want to keep this one. Good evening, tuning in from Spokane. I love those Christmas ornaments. They were always on our tree at the First Baptist. Yes, that's normally where you see them. As soon as she showed me a picture of them when she said she wanted to make some, growing up in the Methodist church, I was like, I don't know if they still have them up, but they had them up my entire life. but that's usually where you see them. All those, like, you know, the fish. And I have to tell her, I looked up today on there and it said that they were gold and white. Gold for, you know, the arrival of Jesus, and white for like purity of whatever. It had the two colors on there because I was thinking I thought she said silver and white or gold and white. It could be any, but according to this website I was on, they only can be gold and white. But she told me today that you know, there are a lot of different you know, different meanings for different ones. And like the Alpha and the Omega one, some of them will say they are symbolizes good and evil, and then it'll say the beginning and the end, you know. So I think they all kind of have multiple meanings, but it was pretty cool looking it up. I thought it was really cool. I always like to learn. Yes, they do at the Methodist Church. Yes, my entire life. They were always so cool because, you know, they have like sequins on them, and like you'll have like a Celtic cross, different things like that. So I bought one of those styrofoam burners, and we're gonna put it down. And I may like videotape it, maybe show you some of the video of us doing it. I don't want to do it live because this is gonna be a strict learning process for me. I think she's done some cross stitch ones before, but these will be like the old school styrofoam ones. I think according to the website I was on was called whychristmas.com. To me, it was a good little website as far as what we were looking for. And it said that the Lutheran Church, like in Virginia, were the first people to do this a long time ago. And now you see it everywhere in Christian churches. But it wasn't a Lutheran website, I don't think. So, I mean, it wasn't like they were saying, we started this and everybody copied us. I just think they were saying that was maybe the first place they saw it. Okay, y'all, I'm glad we went. The good idea, Miss Jane, to go with the steel gray color, because I think that's really rustic looking, and I am going to distress it a little bit on the sides, but it looks really barnyard. And I love those colors. And I think all of our other colors will look well and stand out in front of it too. I thought about taking cookie sheets like we did on our haunted house, and you could do like maybe an Eve on the top. So, I mean, y'all people get crafty. Oh, but you know, well, I don't know. We have brown in our, because I was fixing to say, now this doesn't match, but brown and gray do go together, and we have it in our shepherds. So, okay, this is going to be our hardest thing, but y'all won't be able to see me for just a while. Here, let me turn it around the other way, and then you'll be able to see at least this part. You won't have to look at just the back. Okay, so what I'm going to do, see how you can see it just a little bit on the ends? I like that because it kind of, you know, gives it like a foundation. So I didn't want to just cut it straight up to the side of it. All right, so I'm going to put a ton of glue on the back and get her glued down. And I'm not letting it go for a few minutes, so this may take a second, because every time I tell you, okay, let me look, and it drops. And this is not something that can drop. Let me push it right here, too. Ugh. I hear you, kitty. All right, are y'all liking it so far? Oh, you perfect. You love it. I have seen them embellished with pearls and sequins and ribbons. Yes. I think you can make them just about, she said you can make them just about any medium that you want. How you like my barn house? It's an 8. You give it an 8?
45.
8:45? Okay, so an hour. Yep, I whittled this out of wood, John, all by myself.
I know you did.
I used his tools to do it. Chris told him tonight when he moves into his house next month, what am I going to do for power tools? Because I'm like skilled with the skill saw and the miter saw now. I used to be scared of a skill saw, but I'm not anymore. Okay, they said they love it. Okay, good. All right, so I don't think we have anything else quite right now that goes on. Let that like harden up a little bit. And we'll put, let's start with Mary and Joseph. They said it's 8:45, so I gotta hurry up because 9 o'clock last night, for whatever reason, I don't know if everybody in our neighborhood jumped on this, but the uploading speed dropped really fast. So, okay, they kind of need to be the homely ones. And I say homely with all the love in my heart because, you know, they just do. They're the one, they're poor. They're having that baby in a manger, you know, so we can't like give them any kind of like trinkets and stuff. And I'm thinking these are slightly green, and I was like, you know, I can paint them. It's felt, it's cloth. You can paint cloth, but I'm trying to think they would look pretty cool on the wise men, especially when I put the top, but we'll paint them for the other ones. All right, so let me see. I don't know if I can. I need to look on Amazon. Last night I got to watching videos of the crafters when I was in bed. I want to look up and see these little felt balls. I think somebody said you can buy them in multiple places. Well, I'm going to go ahead and put it on here. And here is going to be our little Joseph. Because they are really pretty. And I like the fact that they're bigger. And you can already, I mean, they're felt, so you get them in colors. I think I got this pack, if I'm not mistaken, at Kirkland's. So now I'm dropping the little beads everywhere. Okay. There's a Joseph, a Mary. She's going to have the same size head. But I think that size works well for them. And we can just paint them like we did our beads last night already on here. All right, and our two shepherds. And they're gluing very well too. All right, all right, all right, all right. I do not want to lose any of y'all. I think last night I was so busy worrying about the last little part of the bow last night when I guess maybe y'all were going, you're freezing. And the next thing I know, I looked up and it said, you know, you had poor signal, whatever. And, but all we had was our bow left. But my friends and Miss Jane started calling and Ren was texting me going, you got to get your crap together. And I was like, I don't know why all of a sudden it's doing this. I mean, I've done these lives, I think, since July. And it never happened before. And all of a sudden now it just... But hopefully we'll be done in just a few minutes. And oh, those work perfect. Because I think the little wooden ball, they would stay up here and sit really well, but those just being so light were easy to glue on. So you see it's going fairly well. Now I tried to look for some the thinnest little jute or twine that I had. This is jute twine that you actually get in the automotive section in the Dollar Tree. I don't know what you do with automobiles for this. I don't know anything about fixing cars now. Work a saw, I can do that, but not know anything about cars. Okay. Get the gas, put gas in them and change your oil. About the only thing I know about that. Let's see how you start it. But you find this in the automobile section. We're going to take our little gifts, and the only thing we're going to do that, I'm just going to tie one little knot around them. So just, you'll know that this represents one of the gifts. Nothing fancy, nothing. This is just the smallest little jute, easier to tie around their little heads when we do their, what are those, like type robes? Oh, here. These are our rustic little presents. I think they're perfect. Loving the color. I was afraid Facebook had bumped you because of time. No, I think you have like 3 hours from what I understand. And last night we were on here 2 hours, but I remember I was like about 15 minutes late last night, and then it cut off probably about right at the end. I mean, we really were finishing up, but I mean, it was like it just completely cut off. I mean, it went out of Facebook and everything. Like it did. My phone didn't shut off, but the app completely shut. So I don't know, maybe if they were doing a little maintenance or something, but I went right back in. Okay, so here's our little gifts done. Okay, I'm gonna leave the wise men their little face, you know, just to give it something different. I'm gonna take, this is a little bit nicer burlap. It almost looks like a flock in here, but I just thought it looked a little bit nicer. And if we curl that, we'll just do like one little thing around it. Can't. This is going to be a strictly, I don't know thing, y'all. Maybe I should tie it around his head and then cut it. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. Tie it around his little head and then cut it. You don't have to do this on your one. I'm just trying to get here a little extra, but if it don't work out, we could always pull it off. Hello from South Carolina. Hello, Judy. Hey, Judy, you need to inbox me your address so I can send you that tinsel. I took it to work with me today, and right before I left, it was in my purse, and I took it out, but I didn't see your address. I'm probably wasting this. It would be easier if we weren't live. I could do a little pattern of what I really wanted, but we don't really have all that kind of time. So there is one of my little wise men. I don't really like the little tails. So there he is. And this stuff is a little stiff too. All right, so there's one of those. Let's see if I can use this little piece. Trying to make them look different but the same. I'm kind of got this little hole in here, and I'm liking wrapping this around. Which that looks more like a woman, I think, than it does a king. We're gonna try it. Make our kings look different. There's no right or wrong way. Y'all just do what you like on yours. And I'm gonna make him look maybe a little. He's got like a jazzy suit on. Cute. Bless your heart. Yeah. Oh, Judy. Oh, you were talking about, yeah, inbox me your address and I'll get you the that little tinsel. I put it in my purse to take to you, and I had a message in my inbox, and I thought it was you, but when I opened it up, it was not. It was somebody else asking another question. And I said, well, I'll probably see her tonight, and can send her, and tell you. Just inbox me your address, and I will send it to you, because it fit in an envelope. So it's nothing to send it to you, no problem, because I'm not going to use it. But you know me, I couldn't throw it away. Never throw art supplies away. Okay, he looks a little different, just something different. Whoops. Here's one, just making them different. And then maybe she was bless your heart about the wise men. Okay, I inboxed you a few. I want to know about chalk paint and way cheaper. All right, cheapest one to buy, I would say, is just go to Walmart and get it. But somebody said last night that Walmart's fixing to do away with their paint section. Maybe they might keep the chalk paint since nobody's buying the other stuff, but I doubt it. But I would say besides that, maybe you can go to like Hobby Lobby or something and buy, I'm sure they do 50% off on their paints. I don't think I've ever bought any paints from there except acrylic paints to actually really paint on canvas with, or oil. And when I did it then, I was buying it for Buff for Christmas, and I did wait. And just like everything else, if you wait whatever week, they'll have their stuff on 50% off. I don't think I ever, that's the first thing I tell the people when I get up to the counter in Hobby Lobby is like, if I got something that's not 40 or 50% off, let me know. And I'm going to see if it's worth me keeping, if I just accidentally picked it up, or if it was in the wrong place. Okay, now this one I like, but he's kind of off center. I had to put a little glue on his head because I wanted this one to kind of go down. Oops, still off. Ooh, looks like kind of like Darth Vader on one side. Okay, well, he's better. Okay, so here's my wise men. Now my shepherds. I think my shepherds, I'm gonna like, aren't they supposed to be like super poor and don't have anything like that? Bubby's laughing at me. I just mean, they're the ones that that they don't have any money. Okay, and Joseph, we'll put maybe one other one on her. But Mary, I got this white burlap, and I definitely want to use her with the white. And do hers down a little bit. Hold on. Make hers long. Okay. I like to kind of use this glue on the other one. I put it in place on where I wanted it. Ooh, and look at me without my finger protectors. Ooh, that was so nice. Just put that on there and be able to touch it. Not have them go, whoop, whoop. Okay, look at that. Ah, love it. Look at me using things the way I'm supposed to. Ooh, and she just sat on there every morning. Now, she's got like a jet coming out the back of her, but we'll figure out a way to, oh yeah, so we just put a little glue on her. Y'all, I've never made these, so we all learning. You buy your chalk paint in the craft section, right? Yes. I pay $18 for 8 ounces. But now, 18 ounce for 8 ounces. Now, Well, yeah, because even Dixie Belle for 8 ounces is only like $10. But now if you're getting a good quality paint, but now I've never tried anything that costs that much. So I don't know if somebody's getting you, or maybe you're using a really good quality paint. What kind of paint, Judy, is it? Okay, now see, I really like her. I even almost like her without trying to put in like little thing around her head. All right, and Joseph. We'll just do him like a little thing on the top of his head. This is kind of fun. This like seems like old school arts and crafts. Y'all are all walking so, Buffy, nobody can hear you walking, buddy.
I was trying to walk quietly up.
I know, you're so sweet. She's like tiptoeing. I'm like, nobody can hear you
No, I was
walking.
talking about I was doing it for Harry.
Oh, okay. I thought you were doing it for me. She said, nope. Never mind. She was trying to sneak up on one of the cats. I think Walmart is doing away with their big paint. Oh, you mean like the big paint section, not the craft paint? I don't know. Okay. Now, Joseph, we are going to put something around his head. And the wise men, I'm liable to send y'all a picture and I have the wise men have something on their head. I don't know. I don't know, but right now they all looking like green people. So, you know, I may paint their little faces because you only can see a little bit of the front. But let me put his little thing down in the back. Little flap. And there's our Joseph. I kind of like that he's cattywampus. All right, let me put these down. Look at this. Look at this finger protector. I can put it right on my glue. So awesome. All right. Hey, Gina. Gina, look at me. Using my finger protectors you left me. Totally cool. Being a responsible. This is adulting, Buffy. Being responsible. All right, let's see. One more on the back. Put a little bit down. And so, y'all, I think that about sums it up, besides our star. And I could really use my paddle wire. And I think the only paddle wire I could find was my red. I forgot I brought this like little purple out. I wonder if that kind of looks like, oh, you know, one thing we didn't do, we haven't made the baby Jesus. Okay, hold on. We're getting there. Okay. And let's see. We can just use a wood color. And I bought one of my little beads, and we'll put a little bit of the antiquing, and I can just do it with my finger because it's so small. But we're going to just do one of these little half beads, because what I'm going to do is put him on here, and it will be like they're holding. So let's just leave him wooden, and we can stain the head. Because, you know, baby Jesus, he was Jewish. He lived out in the desert, so he's, you know, not going to be white hair, blonde hair, blue eyes. He's going to be a little on the tan side, you know, in between. He's not white and he's not black. He's just Jesus. The baby Jesus. And we're going to stick him right on here on one end. Now, I could make her holding him, but I think I'm going to put, and there's just our baby Jesus. Jesus. Jesus, 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 Jesus. Our little manger. Now, I told you I was all nervous about a manger. So what I found, several things. I could have went and got out some sticks. I found this really cute one that was made out of like sticks, and I liked it the best, but then I thought I think I'd have to know how to do some woodworking if I did that. But they just took their Jenga blocks and built up, and I rarely just use these and alternate them. Okay. This was a very simple one, and it was the simplest one for me. I just did, and I alternated it. It's a little stack of 6, because it's kind of like we're going to present him, and you're really not going to see this as much, because I'm going to put some raffia on top of it. All right, so I really just need some end pieces. Well, to be able to glue them, I'm going to kind of get some that are a little bit longer. And so it'll hold my glue better. Watch this, y'all. I can put my finger right on it. I'm so excited. She needs a smock. Yes. And I love aprons and stuff like that. And I never think about putting one on. I bet I could go in like people that cut hair, don't they wear smocks? Miss Jane, I came right by your house today and didn't bring you that piece of twine. Not terrible. Sorry. I got. All right. So I'm gonna put a little piece on the side. And, ooh, I see something else I have too. I think I would like to put on here. I've got some of this burlap, little piece. Okay, so, I wonder if that little, oh yeah, little piece of burlap kind of out the side. A little bit of this out the front. And I'm kind of trying to make it a little big because I'm going to set my Jenga block right down in the center of here, where he kind of is on display. And I guess maybe, I guess you could like put a little Jenga block cross right there, but see how they're just not small enough? We're not gonna do that. But, so, okay, here's our little rustic baby Jesus. So he's just kind of sitting on a little pedestal. And we'll just set that in between them. Because, I could have done it. I think if I was just making 3 or making an ornament small enough, I may have made it where she was holding. But, when you buy a manger set, a nativity scene, baby Jesus is separate. But I'm going to glue him in there so I don't lose him on here. All right, he has to be swaddled in some kind of burlap. All right, let's swaddle him up. Let's get a little piece we didn't use the purple. And purple is the true color of Advent and stuff. All right, so let's see. Not blue, we use blue, but really the real color is purple. I learned that to teach to my little youth in Sunday school. We have just taken on the blue over the years. Hey, Jenna Grace. Okay. So, we got a baby Jesus. We need to figure out which one of our star looks good. Let's see. Do we need the white up front? Or... Okay, that's the way. I love being able to just touch this glue. Whoops, I'm gonna set it down on its side so I can put this star up here and it will, whoops, I need another glue stick. They're in a heavy discussion out there on the porch. I can hear them from here. Okay, y'all, that's looking too cute. Okay, so I'm gonna put it up here, get all this other stuff. I'm gonna back my camera up so y'all can see it. And like I said, I can go dig in my fall decor and get those like little hay bales out. And not that one, it was this one. I'm gonna have to just cut this because I don't have time to figure it out. My little sheep, I almost forgot my sheep we talked about last night. Now this sheep's kind of look a little bougie. Let's see. I know y'all don't know what I'm doing. I'm sitting here letting my star get nice and cool, but I'm making a little sheep that we talked about last night using this yarn. Jenna Grace, hey pretty girl, could use brown pipe cleaner for shepherd's hooks. Yes, and I think I have some brown too. So I'll go and hunt down some little cute stuff to put on it with it. And then so here we are, and it's got the star on it. Get this paint out of the way. Can y'all see it really well? Let me see. Y'all see it? Okay. All right. All right, so let's get all this little crap out the way. My little table is dirty, but all right, let me see if I can back up even more. Okay, so we've got baby Jesus, most important, and here's his mama. And I think I'm going to paint their faces this drop cloth white because that's going to bother me. Because right now they look like aliens, I think. But I love these felt balls. That was pretty cool. All right, we'll get some. There's our two shepherds. And where is our little... Did I scooch it over here? Where's my little animal? Oh, there it is. Here's my little sheep, which I love. Okay, and then here's our three wise men. And their gifts. Maybe I don't need all three of them. Maybe I can just put that one in the back a little bit, or I can make these closer together. All right. So, oh my gosh, y'all. I'm loving this. Please give me some hearts and sprinkle it if you like it. We just did our little plain little star up here to go with all of our stuff. But I think it's going to be really cute. And I'm going to put it on my sideboard over here so I can put it really close to my kitchen table, which has the red trucks. But I mean, you just think of all the little rustic things you have. I don't know if I really have any room now for the hay. I mean, I think these little figurine, everything just worked out to where I'm covering everything on the board. But I really love it. I think it would even be pretty if you wanted to, you know, like people glue snow, if you wanted to glue a lot of Raffy on it to give it more of the barnyard thing. But I think this really goes with the rustic theme that we all seem to use for Christmas right now. But I'm so glad y'all liked it. And I'm so glad we didn't have any other problems with our internet. And y'all have a good night. You could have had silent night on the barn. Yes, I just, on the fly, she was like, do you want any words at the top? And I was like, no. I mean, maybe we can just put a loft door up there. But yes, you absolutely could. And thank y'all so much for the hearts. And thank you for the good job. Thank you, Gina, for my finger protectors. I love them. And I will see y'all tomorrow night. Thank you so much for watching, Rose.